Hi everyone. So today I thought I'd have a bit of a change in terms of the types of videos that I'm doing, just for a bit of a one-off, but a bit more of a guidance one, just from what I've learned so far. I'm by no means an expert, but for those people that have contacted me that are also thinking about moving abroad with your family, it's exciting, but trust me, there is a lot to plan. I'm currently moving from the UK to Mauritius in 6 weeks time, exactly today. I've got two young children, and safe to say I'm a bit of a planner. I like to have control over situations, a bit of security, and try a bit of forethought, so that whatever happens, I have already got a contingency in place to try and figure out what to do next. But whether you're considering a move away already, or you're planning one, these are some steps that I wish someone had broken down for me ahead of time to try and compartmentalize all of the things that you have to do. So number one, housing. Don't assume that the properties where you're going, be it Mauritius or anywhere else, are the same as the UK. They're not. I've spent hours and hours reviewing websites, different property sites, Facebook, but there's so many on there, and a lot of them don't look like home, and you're forever searching for something that you try and think is similar to where you live now, and the reality is you're not going to find it. In Mauritius, most of the properties become available maybe a month or so before. It's not quite the same regulated process as in the UK, so it might be that you've got to accept some unknowns along the way. And I think a tip along that is to potentially line up a short-term rental, and then when you get out there and find your feet, you can then start to look around the area and house hunt once you arrive. Another really good tip is to join some sort of expat groups on Facebook and property groups. They're far more active in terms of property than some of the estate agent websites. Number two, work and finances. So moving with savings is one thing. If you're fortunate enough to have savings, then great. But what is your income stream for the longer term? We knew that the cost of living was different in Mauritius than it was in the UK. So we've researched everything. I've watched a million YouTube channels around cost of living, be that for housing, for cars, for health, for schooling, for food, everything you can think of. I've done the research to try and figure it out. So I think what I would advise is to do that research yourself. It's really important that you also understand things like your visa, tax implications, the job options in country, and whether there are also any other opportunities to work in other countries nearby, potentially remotely with occasional travel. That is also an option which we are exploring at the moment, and something that I would recommend to anybody else considering making this big jump. Number three, kids. Now this is a really important and big one. Make sure that you emotionally prepare them ahead of time. So we have been discussing this with our kids really early, before it was even confirmed to be happening. We framed it, and make sure you try if you can to frame it as a big adventure. So we've been showing them videos, pictures of animals, of places, things to try and make it really exciting for them. Now we have tempered that with, some of that isn't the reality on day-to-day basis as well, so their expectations are managed. But frame it as exciting and get them on board as early as you possibly can would be my biggest tip. And another tip would be to make sure that you look at schooling early, because there are long waiting lists for a number of the schools on the island. Obviously there's a limited number of them, so make sure that you get in, do your research, and make sure you get your applications in early. Number four, now this is the most boring one, but is a real necessary, and that is around things like legal and healthcare. As I say, boring and essential. However, things like passports, visas, vaccinations, insurance, boring admin things, but they become really real and important, especially when doing this with kids. So I think a top tip for this section, something that we've had to do, and I can tell you through experience, is check your passport expiries. So if you're going for longer periods of time, you know, check when your passports expire, because you don't want to be trying to sort out a passport remotely if you can help it. So for example, my eldest daughter, her passport expires next year, so we've still got over a year left on it, but we're aware that we're going to be away when that happens, so we've made sure that we've got a new passport to get us through for the next I don't know, 6 years or 10 years, however long the next expiry is on the passport. So make sure you check your documentation ahead of time and try and make sure you prepare for that. And this is point number 5, and I think this is probably the most important point out of all of them, because all of the others, apart from maybe around the kids, are that transactional piece that I've talked about before. This one is about letting go of the perfect plan. Now, as I alluded to earlier in this, I am a bit of a planner, and I like to have an idea of how things are going to unfold before they happen, so I can prepare for every eventuality, and I think that's a fairly human sort of attribute. But you cannot control everything in a big move like this. No matter how prepared you are, things are going to go off track, things are going to come in left field that you cannot physically have thought about, and that's okay. Just try and focus on having some flexibility around things rather than perfection of how you live your life here and how you expect them to be when you go there. Some of the best parts, and one of the main true fundamental reasons that we're doing this, is for that risk, that unknown of not having done this before, and the journey, that might not be the right word, the journey of getting there and this process that we're going through is all part of what we wanted to experience. And the best parts of the journey are often from what comes from the unexpected, and even if they feel difficult at the time, as long as you work through them positively together, then afterwards they're the things that you laugh about and say, do you remember when this happened and that happened? They become the best bits and the most memorable bits. So don't be scared of them, accept that you don't know everything and that you can't control everything. So they are my 5 top tips for trying to work through something of this significance. I hope in this video I've just demonstrated that moving abroad isn't just a checklist. It's a bit of a shift of mindset. So if you're thinking of doing this one day, or you're already packing and planning it yourself, I hope this has helped in some way. Please subscribe to follow along on our journey, where I'll be going into each of those 5 areas in a bit more detail in separate videos, should you wish to explore that. Or if you just want to follow the experiences that we're going to have as a family of 4 moving from the UK to Mauritius. We're going to share every step along the way, the good and the messy, and some of the difficulties that we face. So tell me in the comments if it's something you're nervous about or excited about. If you want to contact me directly, you can. Is there anything that you've found useful when you've tried to move abroad? Any tips that you have, please feel free to share and to enhance this channel for everyone watching. Thank you.